down to the Kenton County Library, and that's kind of where it's been for the past several months, where other people have got to see it and enjoy it and try to figure out the combination possibly. But it's a unique piece of history, and I'm glad that it's getting its due and being told about. The transportation cabinet kind of became a part of government back in the 50s. And prior to then, there were some other offices around that the Northern Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Road Department, had in areas. But in 1953, the state bought the Roebling Bridge from the Covington-Cincinnati Suspension Bridge Company. And with that, they got the building, which is where Anchor Properties is located now. And the district office was then in that building for several years, approximately about 9 years. And then in 1967, a new building was built up off Buttermilk Pike because the interstate was kind of new. The Brent Spence Bridge was built. And some of the right-of-way was up there, and the new district office was built there. It's kind of a mid-modern century box-type building, and that's where the District 6 office has been ever since. So with that, we got the contents of the old bridge company, and all that moved up to the district office in 1967. So that safe has just been sitting in the Chief District Engineer's office since 1967, just holding stuff in the corner, kind of out of the way, out of sight. And when we reached out to the Kenton County Library this past fall, they were happy to come on board and find out more about that safe and its history. Well, I believe the actual tolls was from the Anchor Property building. You can actually see a little toll window. That's where the bridge company had their office. But this was, I believe, considered a maintenance building. And that's where our structures crew and some maintenance crews housed their equipment, had some offices and such into this old building here on the side, which I'm not really quite sure when it was built. But it was part of the property when the state bought the bridge, along with the old bridge company building as well.
Yes.
Right, I believe I remember seeing that tolls were like 3 cents to walk across the bridge back in 1867 when the bridge opened. We just celebrated, now it's 152 years old. But it's amazing that the structure is still there and serving greater Cincinnati. But this was part of it. This building housed a lot of the equipment that they used. If there needed to be repairs, this was the place to go for a lot of the maintenance need that District 6 had with our bridge, with all of our bridges, not just the Roebling Bridge, but it's hard to believe, but the Northern Kentucky District oversees 1,000 plus bridges that they maintain and have to do repair work on and to inspect. So this building served its purpose back in the day. It still houses a few things. It's kind of demolished a little bit and it's not deemed as safe, and we've moved our operations in other places within the district, but this was definitely part of the history of the Roebling. Very fair to say, back in 2011, we did a $16 million paint project on this bridge where we had to canopy some of it while we were removing the old paint and putting new primer and paint on. The bridge was closed during that time. We've had several repairs along the way on the bridge deck, which is just a metal grate type thing. In the winter, we can't treat it because the salt goes through the grid. So sometimes it's slippery in the winter, which provides some challenges. But we are constantly doing inspections on this bridge. This past summer, we had some engineers that were kind of rappelling off the top of the bridge of the towers, on each tower, checking out the limestone of the structure. And it is just amazing that this bridge is still serving like it does. We have had to reduce some of the weight limitations. So no, I believe it's 3 tons. I'm not sure of that. Larger vehicles like tractor trailers, buses can't travel it, but every day, 2-axle cars, the tank trolley that's still carrying people across. And it's part of this history of this area, especially with our sports. Cincinnati's celebrating its 150th year, and to think that it's been carrying 150 years worth of fans back and forth across the river, Bengals fans. This river, the river banks here along the Ohio and Kentucky, it's just so full of history, and this bridge is the staple of that.
So you guys have some plans for the safe afterwards, right? It's going to be part of the lobby, or can we not?
We're anxious to see what is in the safe, if anything's in there, or if Johnny Rowe's piece of paper with the combinations in there. It'll be displayed for sure within our district office as you're coming in, because it needs to be seen. We have a lot of people coming in and out of the office for project meetings, contractors, elected officials, and people just coming for information. So our doorways are always open, and this way people can also see this cool treasure that has been around for probably close to 100 years itself. It's in mint condition, because for 52 years it's just been sitting idle, and it's hard to move around a safe of that size. I'm not for sure what the weight is, but it's not something that you could pick up and move easily. But it will be displayed. It will not be stuck in a corner of an office anymore. It's there for people to see and to appreciate that piece of history that was a part of this beautiful bridge.